My MFA helped me in every sense of the word. Help. I mean it. First of all, when you if you submit work regularly, you can submit the same poem, and Duotrope will keep track of the submission success of your overall profile and how long it takes individual poems to get published. And just entering the MFA program and then again graduating, uh, I know that some literary magazines, they'll say take your name off the paper or whatever. But the reality is credentials do seem to matter, and I would get the same poems published a lot faster, things that have been submitted multiple times, once my bio improved. So I think there is a semi justifiable shallowness to how people approach the MFA label. Like, it does show that you studied, and it does, programs may vary, but usually someone that comes out of a literary program um, should have more to show for it, provided they applied themselves. But I think also it had a lot of the things that I personally needed. Like, I needed confidence. I wasn't going to get that without an MFA program. I think it would have, I had a lot of insecurity issues, especially in my early 20s, that would have really kept me from doing the type of mental fortification, like building the fortifications I needed to overcome the publishing landscape. Like, that can be a really brutal experience to send your work out again and again and again and have nothing to show for it. But it also taught me skills that I didn't have. It helped me. It forced me to build writing discipline, which I didn't have. I wanted to be a writer for a lot longer than I wrote. And it forced me to write. It made me build a daily habit. It made me discard a lot of the things that were holding me back. And it exposed me to new ideas that were important and fundamental to know as an operating writer. Um, I think that there's a question like, do MFA programs, are MFA programs worth it? And they're a lot of money, and mine was on the cheaper side because it was in a program that was coalescing. It was coalescing around a very established and very established English program with a department with a storied history. And but it was, the program itself was kind of new, so I saved some money there, I think. But um it ultimately, the whole the whole calculus is, how long would it take me to learn the things that I learned on my own, and would I make the same growth? Because you can learn all the same stuff that an MFA program goes to teach you. Like, you go to workshops, you read constantly, you apply, you can make all the same growth on your own. It's just way harder. And it's like, how long do you want to spend doing that? Do you want to, like, an MFA program can really shore up blind spots that you may not even realize are in your knowledge or your skill ability or your portfolio or your style or your reading history. And an MFA sort of protects you, not just in terms of your skill, which it will develop and force you to develop, and it will force you to also submit work that you may feel is unfinished, and force you to get over your own perfectionism, which in itself is an obstacle. Perfectionism, obsession with perfectionism, is a killer to a lot of new writers that they just have to get over. So I don't know. That's a personal question. I don't think it's possible to say, like, I dislike that argument as like a feature of so many like writer talks, is like, yeah, is an MFA worth it? Let's discuss. Um, because I think the question is good, but I think trying to like parse it out, it's an individual question. And so I think that information should be customizable to each person. To me personally, it was very worth it. And I would not be where I'm at without it, or without my professors, or without the people that helped me learn how to workshop, that I spent time with together, that, we went to overseas together, and we did our residencies together, and all our workshops, like that types of stuff really changed me for the positive. But I can't say if it's good for other people or not. Okay, so Flamingo Writers Guild is a comp is it's a response to my laureateship of Parma, Ohio. So the city of Parma um named me a poet laureate of the city, and so my job is to come up with projects that build infrastructure and encourage writing and make a name for people in Parma somehow. So Flamingo Writers Guild was an entity designed to do two things. One, to have more events and writing and reading opportunities for people who live here. But the second thing it was designed to do is help pick the next laureate, because I don't think that selection process, that shouldn't be like a legacy choice. It shouldn't be me saying, oh, hey, I think this person's the best person, I'm just going to install them. I think that there should be a group of people that kind of meet and say, we as a group think that this person is the best. No process is perfect, but this is better than me trying to do it myself. So Flamingos, basically what we do is we do a series of events. Shut Up and Write is one of those events. Shut Up and Write is a monthly thing that we do where people just get together and just write. And like people can share work. They can go off to them, on their lonesome. If we do it over Zoom, it's, giving two writers a breakout room to share their work. Sometimes people ask for prompts, or I'll give them publishing opportunities from like literary magazines that have open reading periods or whatever. But we also do a series called Mingle with the Flamingos, which is a monthly reading series. It's the second Tuesday at 7 o'clock of every month. We feature two authors who will share their work, and then we have an open mic after. We have a bunch of community projects that we're doing. We have the Myanmar Literature Project, which is a group of some myself and a historian friend, Dr. Ward, and we're compiling information on the Myanmar coup that happened. We have, although I guess that's not a local project. We're doing an event called the Parma Author Project, where we're collecting books of people that have written books in Parma, and we have a directory that you can access either online or through the art gallery that's hosting our display. And we have books from people that have either written Parma, that lived in Parma when they wrote their books, lived in Parma and became an author after, or their books were about Parma. That's essentially it. And then we're doing a thing called the Parma Poetry Project, where we're putting poems on plaques and putting them up around the city. So basically, these are just a reaction to a community that has stated publicly that they want more literary opportunities for things. We have an agreement with one of Ohio's prisons, where we're doing like a mentorship program. We've been doing like youth workshops with kids, and one of the things that I'd like to hopefully see before the laureateship is over is having like a club, a writing club for kids. Parma City Schools actually has one for 5th through 12th grade, but there's nothing for K through 4. So that's another thing we've been working on. So yeah, Flamingos is just a community literary nonprofit, and we're just trying to develop programming that people will find interesting. Yeah, so the poet laureate of Ohio, Carrie Gunter Seymour, she has really made it one of her big missions as Ohio's representative poet, that she wants to highlight the Appalachian region. And so she developed this anthology called "I Thought I Heard a Cardinal Sing," and it has people from all over Appalachia, and she's put this book in hundreds and hundreds of libraries all up and down the Smoky Mountains. I think there's one copy in every library in Ohio. It's sold really well. I would say, so I got accepted into that anthology right around the time that I found out I was going to be laureate of Parma, and Carrie had been laureate of the state of Ohio for a couple of years, and it was instructional for me. I looked at how she organized things. I looked at, because that's my weakness. I suck at organization and time management. It's always been like I've, I've got some technical skills, and I really like working on things, pulling my sleeves up. I like motivating people, but I'm not so good at setting things up. And Carrie is also compassionate and supportive, and so it gave me someone, it gave me an immediate person to kind of look up to and see what they're doing and watch them hands on deliver a project from start to finish, from the time that she did her submission call to when she announced like the winners of or the people that were going to be included in the anthology, to the readings she set up, of which there were many, to her communicating things with several dozen notable writers from the eastern United States. It was just I don't think it was like it was cool to be included with all those other great writers, but it was more I think watching her and watching what she got up to, because there's a few people I've really looked up to with what I'm doing, and I've always looked up to like John Burroughs, and I always looked up to Ray McNeice, and the staff at the OPA, the entire OPA staff, Ricky Santer and Chuck Salmons and Suzanne Moeller and those guys, they're all so Carrie was another person that I could look up to and see what did I like about what they were doing, and what did they have to teach me, and turns out I had a lot to learn. And I was that collection really put me more in the right place at the right time, I think, observation wise. Okay, so this poem, I'd love to share a poem. This poem is I'm working on this mental health collection. It's been something I've been kind of working on for a while, and it's probably going to be a while before it's done. But like a lot of my other collections, I kind of make personalities for different observations I have, and I kind of have those characters represent certain things. So anyway, there's this guy named Eddie Boy, and he represents ADHD, and so this is a poem about ADD. It's kind of fun. It's been pretty good to read. Still a work in progress, but worth sharing here. Worth sharing because I can only develop it further the more I read it. So all right, so this is called There's a Place Eddie Boy Put That Thing. Eddie Boy knows it's on the mantle. Ah, never mind. It's not. Why would it be? Nothing is ever on the mantle, except for that labyrinthine 4-month-old mess. He roots through it, and then the counter, and then the desk. Damn, Eddie Boy forgot about that delectable dish he dined upon yesterday. There's still peppercorn, pork, and jalapeno risotto to heat. He cooks it, and he checks the counter, the desk, the mantle, the drawer. It could be in the car. At one point, it was probably in that box of stuff. So each disposable mask and used napkin is a clam hiding pearls. Eddie Boy checks the car, the counter, the desk, the dresser, the mantle. 20 minutes in, and he realizes the cat's trapped in the bedroom. And what are those messes doing in the corner near the TV? I didn't notice that before. So he checks the bedroom, the car, the mantle, the counter, the desk, the mantle, the dresser, the coffee table, and the mantle. 1 hour in, Eddie Boy remembers the microwave. The food is cold, so he reheats it so rubbery that the food's texture could drive his car. And Eddie Boy rechecks the counter, the dresser, the upstairs, the basement. Thorough aesthetic is simply thyself in thought. Does the word mantle still have meaning? So he checks the counter, the desk, the mantle, the dresser, the mantle, and then he gives up and gets drunk. After the therapist leaves their concerned voicemail, Eddie Boy drinks in the kitchen, the basement, the dining room, the bathroom, the driveway, the shed. Thank you.